This is a VR headset, a niche and very expensive piece of technology. These things are quite delicate, ask me how I know. So naturally, a bunch of idiots like me choose to dance and do acrobatics in them. I would say don't try this at home, but that's literally the point of the video. You'll need the aforementioned headset. Wireless is basically necessary. You can pole dance with the cable, but then you're stuck doing this weird song and dance every few spins. I use a Vive Pro Eye. If I were you, I wouldn't. There are two main options for wireless VR, Vive and Quest. There's also Nofio, which was a Kickstarter to make a wireless adapter for the Valve Index. The Valve Index was and still is one of the best VR headsets you can buy because of that sweet, sweet Valve R&D money. Nofio, on the other hand, in Kickstarter fashion, overpromised and in some cases didn't even deliver at all. And the wireless adapters they did deliver, extremely high latency and dropped frames. It will give you motion sickness before you ever touch the pole. And trust me, you do not want to pole dance with high latency. Don't use it. It is bad. Vive. The Vive wireless adapter came out in 2018 for the original Vive headset, and it was amazing for the time. It's since been jerry-rigged to work with all their new headsets, and when it works, it's amazing for dancing because of just how low the latency is. The issue is, it overheats and crashes often. You will be in the middle of an amazing dance, and it will crash and ruin your performance. It's just frustrating, and especially because if your own body gets in between the wireless adapter and its antennas, it'll lose connection and cause a crash. It's not a bad option, it just has its downsides. If you decide to go this route, I recommend getting a used Vive Pro or a Vive Pro 2. These headsets are heavy and clunky, as you can probably hear in this video. But despite the weight, they're great at staying on your head while you're dancing. And the reason I said to stay away from the Vive Pro Eye is because it's just a Vive Pro with eye tracking. But they're discontinued, and really rare, so the resale prices are stupid high, and idiots like me tend to break them. Also, thank you to a fan of mine who a year or two ago gave me a Vive Pro Eye for free because she didn't use it anymore. You know who you are. Thank you. I promise I won't break that one. Quests. I'm mostly talking about the Quest 2 and the Quest 3. I would stay away from the Quest Pro for pole dancing. The facial tracking is nice. I like facial tracking. But because of its strap design, it loves to fly off your head. That didn't sound good!
Ooh.
Wireless-wise, the Quests are really good. They have low latency, and they avoid the constant crashes the Vives have, plus their wireless is over Wi-Fi, so something as simple as looking in the wrong direction won't crash it. I'm not saying this is an endorsement, but the Minions one is really cheap, and it works just fine. In all seriousness, you do not need to spend too much money on a router. Just put it in the same room as your playspace, and it doesn't matter if the range isn't that good. It only has to cover your playspace. Okay, to talk about the downsides of the Quest, we have to talk about the Vives again. The best VR tracking method is lighthouse tracking, where the lighthouse, also known as base stations, emit an IR laser that sweeps across your playspace in a predictable manner. Your Vive and Valve headsets, controllers, and trackers are all covered in sensors to see that laser sweep across their sensors, and with onboard accelerometers and gyroscopes, determine an extremely accurate position from it. Use the 2.0 base stations and mount 4 of them up high pointing towards the center of your playspace. If you can't afford 4, just start off with 2 and upgrade to more later. Lighthouse tracking is accurate, can handle sudden movements really well, and importantly, it tracks all of your VR devices with one technology, so they're accurate to each other. Here's the issue, Quests don't have lighthouse tracking. They use inside-out tracking where the headset's covered in cameras like a biblically accurate toaster, and it uses algorithms and machine vision to look at the cameras and get a rough idea of where you're at in the space. It's not as accurate, it can't handle sudden movements as well, and it has the issue of location drift where I'm here, I walk 10 feet over there, and I walk 10 feet back, so I'm in the same position, but the headset won't think you're in the same exact position. This is a headache of using a Quest with full body. They are two entirely different play spaces that you can calibrate together, but the Quest will drift over time. Just slam a tracker on your Quest and install PlaySpace Calibrator. It is an amazing piece of software that continuously calibrates the PlaySpaces together and makes using a Quest in this weird setup pretty usable. Keep in mind, this will make setting up PlaySpace boundaries a lot harder, and the boundaries are important for actually knowing where the pole is, but we'll get to that later. It's all compromises though. Vive headsets are clunky and their wireless will crash at the most inopportune times, and the Quest will inform Facebook every time you ear pee with that mute cat girl who you're not entirely sure is a female. I use my Vive Pro Eye because the facial tracker tracks tongue movements. The Quest Pro doesn't. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm stuck with this stupid thing. Lots of dancers I know use Quest 2 just because of how cheap they are. It's good enough. And who cares if you've broken like 6 of them? Because they're cheap. Trackers! There's the Vive 3.0s and the Tundras. Both are light, small, and have good battery life. Some people have issues with the Tundras, me included. Some say they're better. I get whatever you want. Like, they're both fine. They work. Some people use Vive ones and Quest controllers. They're wrong. Index controllers can slip over your wrist so you can grab the pole. I don't know how people grab it with any other controller, but also keep in mind, index controllers also have this wonderful tendency to break a lot. I never said this hobby was cheap. Valve's warranty is pretty good, but I've also probably spent $2,000 in index controllers. You can spend a lot of money on a pole. I haven't. The $100 Amazon ones work just fine. Out of the 3 I bought, I only broke all the welds on one of them. I prefer the ones with the flat top like this. The pole is meant to untwist and extend to press against the floor and ceiling, and friction holds it in place. I'm a very light person, and spinning too fast will knock the pole down easily. Just drill 2 or 4 holes in the top of the pole and bolt it to the ceiling. Make sure to slap the pole and say,
That ain't going nowhere.
by the way, some people use X-poles. They are apparently really good, plus you avoid all this jank. When I get a warehouse and I need a 20-foot tall pole, I'm getting an X-pole. Just their cheapest spinning pole is $500, so for starting out, just get a cheap one. They work just fine, and they make all these wonderful noises. What? Why? Okay, whatever. Pole dancing is a really intense workout, so you're gonna get a little sweaty, which for most exercises isn't a big issue. The issue with pole dancing is you're relying on the friction between your skin and the pole to avoid falling and breaking your neck. And even worse, everyone laughing at you. I remember a month after I first started pole dancing, I'd been dancing at a club for an hour and I was drenched in sweat. And I had mostly been doing basic spins where you grip the bottom of the pole with your thighs and the top with your hands. Usually your hands don't sweat, so the top of the pole is dry and I have great friction. But the bottom is drenched because inner thigh sweat. Ooh, woo, what the f***? But I was dumb. I went to do an inversion, one hand at the top of the pole and the other at the bottom. Bottom hand had no friction, and the second my feet came off the ground, I ate shit. Bare skin on a metal pole gets you wonderful friction. Add some sweat to the equation, and you're gonna be falling. The way I solve this is to put a pole wrap on the pole. It has just as much friction as skin on metal, but when you're really sweaty, you barely lose any friction. It's also a much more pleasant friction. On a bare metal pole, sliding down is kind of miserable because you grip slide, grip slide, grip slide over and over, and it just hurts. A pole wrap is much easier to smoothly slide down. Your choice because it isn't cheap for what it is, but it's really helpful for beginners. There's a lot of quirks and tips you'll need to learn when it comes to dancing in VR. I promise they aren't actually that hard to get used to, it's just so much easier to be told ahead of time what to do rather than learning all these things on your own. How do you grab the pole while holding controllers? Index controllers! Like I said, best ones. Right now, it's in my hand, and now it's on my wrist. So my hand's free to grab whatever cylindrical object I want. Your hands will default to the open position when you do this, which doesn't look great all the time, so loosen the strap on the controller so you can flick them from your hand to your wrist and back. It's pretty easy to learn. Also, even though your controllers aren't in your hands, you will accidentally hit the joystick while pole dancing, which is quite annoying. Not everyone can do this, but just add a new animation layer to your avatar that swaps between 2 empty animations and put this funny little component on them. When you toggle it on, it disables your joysticks. It's really helpful. How do you know where the pole is? The hard way. Ow, fuck, that hurt! In VR, you can be in worlds with infinite bounds. Unfortunately, your play space does not reflect that. There's already a solution to show your play space boundaries, and it's the first thing you'll be forced to do when setting up a headset. All you do is reset up your boundaries and put a little spiky boy to mark where the pole is. You can quickly get used to the ghost wall, and yes, I know my boundaries are atrociously high-vis, but I like to run around my play space, so I need to know where the walls are. Keep in mind, this is a pain to do while using a Quest setup. So some Quest users will forego the boundaries and essentially be blind as to where the pole is, and when they want to dance, they'll just line it up with the pole in the world, which works. And something that will really help you while you're still learning your space is to just lift your headset every once in a while to check your surroundings. You'll see me do this all the time when I dance. It helps you build up the connection between your play space outlines and your actual play space. Plus, with most headsets, you can actually look through the nose hole to see outside without lifting the headset. How does the headset not fall off? This one isn't hard as it seems. Every headset I've talked about, except for the Quest Pro, it's as simple as just tighten it down and it won't fall off when you go upside down. The classic tri-strap design holds on pretty well. Now, as you're dancing, you'll occasionally have to reach to the back of your head and retighten it. Once again, you'll notice people doing this while they dance, but most headsets will fall under the bracket of just keep it tight and it'll stay on. That's fun. Alright, so some dancers will make custom chin straps to basically guarantee their headset never falls off. I don't do it because if I'm gonna wear a chin strap, it's because I'm actually doing something dangerous. Also, it's okay to cheat a little. Remember, when you're dancing, everyone watching can only see what the avatar is doing. They don't know, nor do they need to know what you're doing IRL. Are your legs really tired and you're struggling to do some hip wiggles or wholesome squats? Just grab on the pole or a chair and just take some of the weight off your legs. Another common one is people doing a one-handed cartwheel and just holding both controllers in one hand so it looks like no hands are touching the ground. This one's like, it doesn't really look that real, but everyone kind of does it, so. One I'll commonly do is when I'm spinning too fast, I'll just run my hand across the ceiling to slow me down. My friends told me they saw I was waving at the crowd. By the way, don't do this if you have popcorn ceilings. I found it out the hard way. It hurt. While we're talking about the whole people can only see what your avatar is up to, when I say bare skin has the best grip on a pole, I mean it. Most people who pole dance in VR were almost naked the whole time. No one can see.
Hey teacher! Can you stop promoting your OnlyFans and get on with the video?
It's a Fansly! And we're almost there! Safety! Be careful because you can legitimately hurt yourself doing this. Now here's the thing. You're going to fall off the pole. And that's okay, because we're gonna practice for it. Most of your ceilings are no more than 10 feet tall, and realistically, while you're pole dancing, your feet aren't even 5 feet off the ground. If you need to get down, just let go with your legs and then let go with your hands, and kind of glide your hands along the pole to keep yourself upright, keep your knees bent, and land on the balls of your feet. And you'll be fine. And that's it. It wasn't hard, it didn't hurt, and it wasn't even that scary. Now, I'm not saying you should purposely jump off the pole, but if you practice it, the one time it's an accident, you'll fare pretty well. I'm at the point where I just use this as a move. Just drop off the pole and do a cute combat roll out of it. But the nice thing is, unlike other sports where you have to fight your body's natural panic response, with pole dancing, when you commit to a move you don't fully know, mess up and slip, or you're just out of strength, your panic response will kick in, and the second you start to fall, you use strength you didn't know you had, and grip the pole to prevent a fall. So go out there and do some dumb shit because your evolutionary desire not to die will hopefully save you. Seriously, be careful though. Also, whenever you're doing any inverted moves like this, if you start to panic, just remember you could probably stick your hands out and touch the ground. Alright class, you're almost ready. You've picked your headset, controllers, and full body, been briefed on the quirks of dancing in VR, and how not to die while doing it. Now it's time to learn to touch the pole. And this ain't no sissy shit. We're starting you off on a spinning pole. Okay, so you walk up to the pole, grab it high with your dominant hand and a little lower with your non-dominant hand, and wrap your leg around it. Now when you're ready, kick off with your other leg while simultaneously pulling up with your hands. Like that. Congrats, you're on the pole. When you feel confident, you can let go with your non-dominant hand, and if you're feeling more confident, you can let go with both hands. And if you want to climb up higher, you grab with both hands, kind of position them a little higher, and just kind of pull up. Now you're high up on the pole, you can do many moves, you can do a little slow down if you need to. If you're feeling really confident, you can kind of grab something like this and let go. And when you want to get back on, grab like that. And when you want to descend, there's many things you could do, but if you want to just be safe about it, you just grab up high, grab down low, on the ground. And that's the most basic pole dancing move. Okay, now that you know that, you can learn all the other moves on your own. Seriously, it's actually that easy. Now that you know the basic spin, all the beginner and intermediate moves are just variations of or transitions from that basic spin. And that's what I love about pole dancing. Anyone can do it, and there's a natural progression to learning new moves. but there's always a more complex and impressive move to strive for, so it never gets boring. And I know a lot of you are gonna say you don't have enough upper body strength to pole dance. Trust me, just do this around the pole for a few days and you will get enough strength to climb it. Now, why even dance in VR? For me, it was because I was really depressed, and VR was an escape for me, like it is for a lot of people. And especially dancing at events was such a fun time that actually made me happy, and spinning as fast as I could, pushing my body as hard as it would go, and taking in everyone cheering me on. It made me smile. For a lot of people, it's the most fun you'll ever have while doing a really intensive full body exercise. Plus, you have other people cheering you on and to compete against to keep you motivated. And for others, anime women cheering you on in an FPT heaven instance is all they need to stroke their egos. But it makes the risk of slipping and breaking a $1,000 headset so worth it. VRChat allows these amazing niche communities to thrive. There's plenty of great clubs to dance at, and a lot of them offer dancing lessons for beginners. There's always FPT Heaven, the classic freelance dancing world where you just hop in line, admire and learn from the dancers in front of you, and spin your heart out when it's your turn. And if you want pole-specific lessons, check out VRPD. Their teachers are amazing dancers. Alright, boring stuff over. Just look me in the eyes and try to tell me this doesn't look fun. I hope the information in this video was helpful to everyone who wants to get into VR dancing. I've had so many people tell me that I was the reason they got into VR and bought a pole, and it really makes me happy. So, I hope this is a great resource and enabler for a whole new generation of VR degenerates just like me. Don't be like me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. This video is taking a lot longer than I thought it would to edit. I'm working on actually uploading regularly, and if you want to see more happy content and degeneracy, there's Twitter, Discord, and other websites linked in the description. And if you want to see more of my stupid dancing, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch again, if you want to check that out. I really appreciate y'all for making it this far in the video. And if you decide to support me and my content, it really means the world. Oh, and if you see me in VR, come say hi! I like it! Don't be nervous! We are all nobodies with toasters strapped to our faces. Don't be afraid of this nobody. And don't tell me to touch grass, because it's not gonna happen. I think the spider's on me.